我们非常高兴啊，今天外交委员会的那个Chairman Ed Royce 可以来跟我们一起参加今天晚上的晚会啊。那我们也在这里诚挚的表达对他的欢迎。那他也会利用这个机会跟各位说几句话。
Thank you, Chairwoman Tsai. It's good to see you here. And let me just share with everyone, first of all, ni hao. It's wonderful to have this delegation here today. As you know, we have a bipartisan foreign policy here in the United States. And so we have led delegations from my committee. I chair the Foreign Affairs Committee to Taiwan over the last 3 years. Bipartisan delegations of Republicans and Democrats united in our effort to work together with Taiwan. We just had Taiwan American Week that we celebrated here in the United States. And likewise, when we're in Taiwan, we met with the chairwoman, we met with the representatives of both political parties. We appreciate her visit here in Los Angeles today, and next week she'll have an opportunity to visit Washington, D.C. So again, we appreciate all the dialogue that we have on an ongoing basis with Taiwan, especially on issues such as trade and investment. Many of the jobs here in Southern California are here because of our trade with Taiwan. But we also have an interest in expanding Taiwan's international space. And so we've worked on legislation with ICOA so that Taiwan has a seat at the table for civil aviation. This builds upon our visa waiver program, which we got through, and it makes it easier for people to travel from Taiwan to the United States, and we're interested in continuing and deepening this dialogue.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you so much, Mr. Chairman and Marie Adwine. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, this one. Dage ho. So this was recently Taiwanese American Week that we celebrated here in the United States, and Taiwanese Americans have a lot to celebrate. They have a lot to celebrate just in terms of not just what their sons and daughters are doing here and achieving, but frankly, all of us in the community need to celebrate. Because without Taiwanese Americans, we wouldn't have YouTube or Yahoo or many of the other incredible innovations. One of the goals we have is to see what we can continue to do university to university between Taiwan and California and the United States in order to continue this remarkable innovation that we see. And I can tell you from the trips that I have led, and as Joseph told you, 3 in the last 3 years, we take large bipartisan delegations. And Joseph, some of this was your advice. I've known Joseph for many years, but in Washington, I got to know him well. And it is true that to have Americans learn more about Taiwan, they need to see Taiwan, from Tainan to Kaohsiung to Taipei. And what I saw there were the businesses. Many Taiwanese Americans have businesses that I saw in Tainan or Kaohsiung or Taipei. We want to see more collaboration of just this type. And I also wanted to say in our conversations, we lead bipartisan delegations there. We conduct a bipartisan foreign policy. That's the way I think the United States needs to conduct its foreign policy. So it was a pleasure to again meet Dr. Tsai, meet the chairwoman. When I was in Taiwan recently, but I can share with you that we've had many meetings over the years and discussed many issues. And I thought I would just briefly talk about a few of these issues today. Now, I do want to make one observation. An artist once said that the most outgoing people, the people who have the most fun, are Taiwanese and Californians. And I think there's a lot of truth to that because they have something in common. Freedom. We feel an enormous sense of freedom here in California. And in Taiwan, People have such a respect for freedom, for democracy. They understand that that principle, a hard-won principle, is important for the future of Taiwan. One of the things I'm proud about in terms of the United States Congress is if you do some research of where Congress has legislated on foreign policy, one of those chapters that really stands out is the Taiwan Relations Act of 36 years ago. When I came to Congress, I remember thinking on this. I joined the Taiwan caucus because I thought Taiwan was an example to other countries in terms of its commitment to rule of law, to freedom, to democratic governance. And the reason I think it's important to have members learn this and learn it firsthand by going to Taiwan is because I think this will strengthen the relationship. One of the things we've done to strengthen that relationship, as Joseph mentioned to you, is to try to find ways to make certain that the needs of Taiwan are responded to under the Taiwan Relations Act. And so we've worked on visa waiver. And now we have a 40% increase of people coming from Taiwan to the United States. Much easier now that we've got that program through. Much easier to seal the deal when you're working on a business arrangement, if you can more easily come here to California or to New York. But the reality also is that with that additional air traffic came the need, the very real need for real-time flight information in and out of the international airport, the need for Taiwan to have a seat at the table in ICAO, in the International Civil Aviation Organization. My legislation allowed Taiwan to do that. It was signed into law by the President of the United States. And so we have the victory with visa waiver. We have ICAO. Now we're working on Interpol, the International Police Organization. Again, it will increase Taiwan's international space. But there are other considerations too under the Taiwan Relations Act. And when I've gone down to Kaohsiung and seen the naval base and taken my delegation on one of those submarines, it is very clear that Taiwan needs the help with the equipment, needs the help with the cooperation of the United States to have an indigenous program for diesel submarines. That is something that we need to cooperate with Taiwan on. It is also very clear, when we were at the air base in Tainan, it's very clear that Taiwan needs F-16s. This last session, legislation which I passed reasserted the importance of the Taiwan Relations Act and gave Taiwan the ability to accept delivery of 4 of our frigates, guided missile frigates, for Taiwan. Now, I can tell you that shortly the first of those frigates, which is being refitted right now in San Diego, and I'm going down to see that frigate, will be headed to Taiwan upon completion. And so these are steps which we need to take and in which members of the Taiwan caucus and members of the Congress are increasingly asserting as an important responsibility under the Taiwan Relations Act. Let me add to you one other consideration. As we try to encourage more collaboration, more investment of our companies in Taiwan, just as Taiwanese companies come here to the United States to invest. One thing that concerns me is if the Trans-Pacific Partnership goes forward, and we end up with other countries in the Pacific Rim with the ability, tariff-free, to trade with the United States and vice versa. I do not want to see a situation where Taiwan does not have a seat at the table in order to push for their interests in this negotiation. We don't want this to end up with Taiwan being locked out because we don't want exports out of Kaohsiung to be at a disadvantage compared to exports out of South Korea or elsewhere. This needs to be addressed. Taiwan's interests need to be at the table. This is what I'm saying. We need to have Taiwan have that seat at the table to represent their interests as we go forward. And so I would just share with the chairwoman and your delegation and our friends here in the audience, I would share with you that I think the future looks very bright for the relationship between Taiwan and the United States. I would share with you that the contributions made by Taiwanese Americans, which we just recognized this last month, have been incredible. And lastly, I would share with you that the sons and daughters of the Taiwanese Americans here face a very bright future, but also look forward to their contribution in giving back to Taiwan and building further those bridges between the United States and Taiwan. Thank you very much.